A compassionate man stumbled upon an orphaned baby moose waiting for assistance right outside his doorstep. The heart-wrenching condition of the little creature compelled him to take swift action, leaving everyone astounded by his subsequent course of action. Moose are truly remarkable creatures, known for their incredible size, exquisite beauty, and awe-inspiring presence. Although encountering them in real life is a stroke of luck, they are not the usual inhabitants of our gardens. Therefore, when Ericus Plukas returned home to discover a moose seated outside his gate, he was taken aback. This incident took place in 2016 in a small town nestled within Lithuania. Just like any other day, Ericus commenced his day by waking up and tending to various errands in town. After spending a few hours outside, diligently attending to his tasks, Ericus headed back home. However, upon reaching his residence, an extraordinary turn of events awaited him. As he approached the front gate, a large object caught his attention. Drawing closer, realization struck him like lightning. It was a baby moose, albeit in a less than ideal condition. Ericus described his initial encounter with her as heart-wrenching. She appeared starved, filthy, and filled with sadness. Flies infested her fur, and although she trembled in terror upon seeing Ericus, she lacked the strength to flee. The baby moose struggled to rise, clearly displaying her ailing state. Ericus couldn't help but wonder where this young creature had come from and what had become of her mother. Usually, a mother moose will be incredibly protective of their young, and it would be unusual for the large beast to not be around her baby to look after it. So where was she? Well, Ericus had an idea about what might have happened, but it wasn't a happy one. The man believed that the poor baby's mother had most likely been shot by hunters, leaving the tiny animal terrified alone and in danger of dying from starvation. He guessed that the baby had run off as soon as the hunters had started shooting, and had looked for the nearest safe place to hide. At first, Ericus didn't know what to do with the young animal. He had never had to care for something like a moose before and had no clue where to start in order to make sure that the animal was okay. He first decided to call a local animal shelter and explain the situation to them. Sadly, they did not offer much help and simply told Ericus to leave the young moose alone, and that they would send someone out the next day to assess the situation. Worried for the baby moose's health, Ericus settled the young animal into his barn for the night and gathered some leaves and milk to feed the animal before retreating to his own bed. The next day, some volunteers from the local animal shelter arrived, but they didn't bring good news with them. After looking the moose over, the volunteers told Ericus that there wasn't anything that they could do for the creature, other than calling some local hunters to put her out of a misery. They believed that without her mother, the young animal wouldn't survive long, and that it would be kinder to make sure that she didn't suffer. Despite what the shelter told him, the kind-hearted man knew that he couldn't just do that to the poor baby, nor could he leave her to fend for herself. He tried calling a few of his friends to see what they would say, but they were as clueless as he was about what to do for the moose. So Ericus did the only thing that he could think of. He kept the young moose and took her into his home. He discovered that the animal was a girl and decided to call her Emma, but with this new addition to his home, Ericus had some quick learning to do. He needed to figure out what to feed the baby animal and how often she needed feeding, and any other possible items or care she might need. After searching around on the internet, Ericus discovered that he would need to feed Emma every 4 hours, which is how often her mother would have fed her had she still been around. It wasn't long before he had established a routine with the young moose and was at her beck and call to feed her every few hours. The kind-hearted man would often sleep next to the small animal in the barn or outside to make sure that she felt safe and looked after and to be on hand should an emergency arise. Emma happily agreed to the situation and would cuddle up to Ericus, acting as if she were with her mother. As the young moose began to get bigger, Ericus started taking on more roles, which would have been up to the mother moose. He began to take Emma out into the woods for hours on end for daily walks and to get her used to her natural environment. Whilst the two were out there, Ericus would teach the young animal how to find food and would comfort her whenever she got scared by the other creatures of the forest. "She was afraid of everything but me," said Ericus. Eventually, Emma got over her fear of the wild and finally became big and strong enough to be released back into the forest, But even though the animal left for her natural habitat, the story didn't end there because Erica's had basically become Emma's surrogate mother. The then adult moose started coming back to visit the nice man. The first time that the animal came back, Erica's was confused, but at the same time, ecstatic that she hadn't forgotten about him. Since she returned to the man's home, often, Erica's always gave her some treats. They often spent their days playing together and even going for swims together in the lake. Despite Emma's superior swimming abilities compared to Erica's, thanks to Ericus's unwavering care for his adopted moose child, he recognized the pressing need to address the issue of hunters to safeguard Emma from a fate similar to that of her mother. Taking decisive action, this passionate animal lover extended an invitation to all the local hunters for a shared meal, intending to engage them in conversation. He candidly shared Emma's story and emphasized the profound bond they had forged. Erica's explained how he had nurtured Emma since she was a vulnerable baby, having lost her mother. With earnest pleas, he beseeched the hunters not to inflict any harm upon Emma, enabling her to continue living her life to the fullest. The sincerity and genuine concern in Ericus's words touched the hearts of the hunters as they listened to the story unfold. In a collective moment of compassion, they pledged to leave Emma undisturbed, and some even made the life-altering decision to renounce hunting altogether upon hearing Emma's tale. "I am her world, and she is mine," expressed Erica's with profound conviction. Sometimes he contemplated whether he had been the one to rescue Emma or if it was, in fact, the other way around, with Emma saving him through their extraordinary connection. Over time, Emma had transformed into a majestic, fully grown adult moose. However, during her last visit to Erica's, the kind-hearted man noticed something remarkable. Emma appeared noticeably larger than usual, leading him to suspect that she might be carrying her own little one within her. This revelation filled Erica's with immense joy as he eagerly anticipated the possibility of another baby moose gracing his home. Furthermore, he possessed a wealth of knowledge and insights to support Emma in raising her offspring if needed. Thanks to this extraordinary and altruistic man, Emma was granted a second chance at life. She not only embraced this opportunity, but also seized it to bring forth a new generation of moose, a generation that, hopefully, would carry on the tradition of visiting Erica's. This unique journey turned Ericus's life upside down. Despite being a man, he wholeheartedly embraced the role of a mother to a moose. The experience surpassed his wildest imagination, leaving him profoundly grateful for this remarkable opportunity and fostering a deep admiration for nature. Ericus couldn't contain his happiness with the way things had ultimately unfolded. What an amazing story! This story teaches us that even wild animals could form an intimate bond with humans. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you liked this video. Please share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.